Hi everyone and welcome to our first edition of Advent Poll. Now before I carry out any work with my horse, ridden or on the ground, I always try to fit in some baited stretchers or carrot stretchers. These are great for activating the spinal stabilising muscles before your horse begins their ridden or ground work. Now I also look quite keen for these today, and I must note that this was the first time she was being ridden in over a week after we'd had a week of snow, so she hadn't had much turnout either, and she also hadn't been in an indoor school for about 12 months, so she didn't do too badly, but she was quite excited for her carrots. Me on the other hand, I think I also look like I've not done much exercise for a week and probably could do with a few more stretches myself, but you know how it is, we always put the horses first. So hopefully you can see that on each side I try to get her to reach towards her stifle, then to her shoulder, then down past her fetlock, then back up towards her chest and then down between her legs to activate the stabilising muscles in the neck, thoracic and the lumbar areas. So once all that's out the way, we can get some tack on and start exercise 1. Now I always like to start off in walk and try and fit in about a 10-minute or at least a 10-minute warm-up in walk to get the horses ready and nicely warmed up for any more intensive exercises in the trot and the canter that they might have later on in the session. As you can see from the video, the exercise uses just 2 poles to make a triangle, and I've used a pole width to measure out the base of the triangle. And we begin by just walking a circle around the widest part of the triangle, and then the second circle that I'm going to ride, I'm going to make it slightly smaller, and I'm going to come in so that one of the front limbs touches inside the triangle, and then the horse will carry on. And hopefully you were able to see that from that still there with Elsa's front leg inside the point and the other one stepping over, so only one leg was going into the point of the triangle on that cycle round. And then I'll come across the poles, so I've gone from meeting the poles on a circle and now I'm going to change that to make them on a straight line. You can see Elsa had a little bit of a think about crossing over the red pole because she changed from meeting them on a circle to on a straight line, so that just made her think a little bit there before beginning the exercise again on the other rein. So here she comes again, this time meeting the wider part of the triangle. So she managed 2 steps in there, and she did have to reach with that right fore to cross over that black and white pole. So again, that made her think a little bit. Made her think about her stride length and where she was going to meet the poles. And now she's going to come and hopefully just get one, just the left fore this time, into the point of the triangle. And here she comes again to meet the poles in the straight line to change the rein, and again she does just have to think a little bit about where she's putting her feet. So now to add a little bit of difficulty, I have raised the poles, and as you could see from that still, when the poles are raised, the horses have to flex the limb more to be able to step over the pole without knocking them. So we have a little bit more limb flexion, so that engages the flexor muscles a little bit more, and it also means they have to activate their core muscles a little bit more to maintain their balance, because their limbs are off the ground for slightly longer. So yeah, there Elsa had a little bit of a wobble because it makes it look a little bit different for her. She has to think about where she's putting her feet when those poles are a bit higher and she's got to get in that point, but she did manage it. And then she's going to come and change the rein. Okay, so then once fully warmed up, you can start the exercise in trot, and exactly the same, though it just makes it a little bit more difficult because the horses are coming in on different stride lengths, because obviously this trot stride length is different to the walk stride length, and also they're moving that little bit quicker, so they have to think a little bit quicker to negotiate where they're putting their feet. But there Elsa did manage to just get one foot into the point of the triangle, which is good, and now she's going to come around and change the rein. I have to add, this was the first time she trotted as well in a week, so she did feel a little tense, but I don't think she's doing too badly considering. Now, once you've mastered the exercise in trot, it can also be used in canter. Again, makes it a little bit more difficult for them. They've got to think about where they're going to place their feet to be able to negotiate the poles. And what I've tried to do is, when I come around for the smaller circle, I've actually tried to clear both poles, there you go, at the same time, which I also found a little bit more difficult on that rein to begin with. By the time she'd done it on the second rein, on the left rein, she was a little bit more comfortable. And a bit more confident about it. And here she's going to come to the base of the triangle. I'm afraid we're not quite up to practice that we could then come round and change legs just yet on the straight line. But as you can see, what we did is we came and we canted the red pole, and then we just came back to trot. So see you tomorrow for exercise number 2.